Well, we are currently traversing a section of the zone at night while it's raining out. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the fast travel in the game, or rather the lack of fast travel in the game. Um, I understand why they have it. It makes total sense from a realism standpoint. But I would also say that I think the game needs more of it. And I know that's going to be a trigger point for some people who are like, no, it needs to be hardcore, it needs to be brutal. I think that fans of the original series, of the original games, have strong feelings about that, but I can also say that with the release of Stalker 2 on the Game Pass platform, it's also opening the game to a whole new generation of players like myself who appreciate a good challenge, but also want to be able to enjoy the benefits of having earned the right to use fast travel. Now, the way the current system is set up is that certain settlements have guides that you can use, and those guides can allow you to go between locations for a in-game fee, and I think that's a brilliant system. However, I would also say that the game is currently lacking a lot of additional fast travel points, which is, by the way, the same problem that Dragon's Dogma 2 had, in the sense that it also did not want to allow players to do fast travel very frequently. And over time, if you have noticed what they've done with Dragon's Dogma 2, is they have patched additional fast travel options into the game to give players more opportunities if they want to use them. Um, I don't think it's a bad system the way this is currently designed, but I do want to point out, like today as an example, we had to go down into the swamps, which was down here, and we had to go all the way down to Clear Sky Base, right? That took us almost 4 hours of a live stream to make it through the swamps and do the quests, because we had to go like do these 4 locations, which allowed us to pinpoint, and then once we got down there and got to Clear Base, we then had to work our way out of the swamps. And the swamps section of the map, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I absolutely loathe and hate every aspect of this part of the map, and I will honestly, it was bad enough that I don't know that I would ever want to do a second replay of the game, knowing that the storyline makes you go down in here. That's how bad that part of the map is to traverse, and to get in is one thing, but then to have to also come out of that same area, um, that was not fun for me. And the moment a game stops being fun is when I start to um, get grumpy. And now, anybody who's been watching my videos up until this point knows that I have been having a great time in this game. I've been having an absolute blast. The challenge of the game is real. There's nothing wrong with being challenged, and I am having a great time playing the game. But the swamps today basically broke me. The swamps broke me. I did not have fun in the swamps. It was 4 hours of sludging through crap that was constantly draining my stamina. Monsters were chasing me. There was a mission I had to deal with, while also getting chased by a nasty monster, and just constant sludging and slogging through absolutely dismal territory, with no way to fast travel out. In fact, if you go look at the map, the closest fast travel from the swamps, there are no fast travel options down in the swamps at all until you get up into here, which is where we're going. I literally finished up the stream a few minutes ago, and we actually ended up over here at the ranger station. Um, there are no NPCs at the ranger station to use, so the only way for me to do any fast traveling or any repairing or anything of all, selling or anything else, is to trudge all the way back here, which means I am basically looking at a 6 hour round trip real time. 6 hours of real time from the time I left this station to start the quest line that went down into the swamps and then came out. It was arguably easier to leave the swamps than it was to get into the swamps. because I was able to sort of beeline on my way out. But at no point in time was any of that fun. And that's one of the issues I think that this game is going to be facing with a whole new generation of players coming into um, Game Pass and playing the game. So you have your original Stalker fans who are going to say, oh, it's meant to be hardcore. It's meant to make you suffer. You need to just appreciate the fact that the zone is dangerous and et cetera, et cetera. And you're not wrong. But what I am saying is Dragon's Dogma 2, as an example, said the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, their CEO or game director came out in public ahead of the game's release and said, "We don't want fast travel in our game because if you are relying on fast travel, then your game is boring, and we don't want fast travel because we want people actually playing our game. And if you need to put fast travel waypoints in your game, then your game is boring." And then suddenly 3 months or 4 months after their game launched, they listened to the feedback from the community and said, you're right, you know, limited fast travel is important for the game design that we have with our game, but it also could be improved, and we're going to add more waypoints in. And I think that's how I'm beginning to feel about this game, is that up until a point, it felt like it didn't feel like a slog getting between the locations because we were getting plenty of locations that we could travel to. So, as an example, being able to travel from um, here over to, say, I don't know that we can go to Shivenko, but we can go from Icarus, I think, to Sultansk. We can go up here to the shelter. Like, there are various places that we can fast travel to using the guide system. And it's a great system, and there are plenty of locations in the earlier parts of the game, but I'm actually over 30 hours into the game now. And the swamps part of the game today made me go, holy crap, they need to add more fast travel waypoints. There needs to be more guides in the game. So this is an area where I would say um, I appreciate the concept of the guides. It works well when they have the guides, and I think the spacing of the guides in the earlier parts of the game feels very good. But the swamps in particular, I definitely think they need to take a look at that and address that in a balance patch post launch, and perhaps consider adding some additional guides and waypoints for travelers like myself who are coming into the game for the first time as new players, as new stalkers. I definitely appreciate the challenge of the game, but at the same time, from a game design perspective, having spent the last decade in game development, I can recognize that this is an area where it felt like there's this huge gap, because previously it was like we're traveling for 2 or 3 hours, then we get a waypoint, and suddenly we do this 6 hour, long
Greener,
trek,
right? The
and it
stalker
felt
says,
painful
if
to
the
the point
water
where
ain't there,
I
let's just
don't
drain
want to
it to
actually
glitz.
come back and
That's
replay
so
that
funny.
section of the
Oh, I
game.
forgot to.
I'm talking over these NPCs. I apologize. That section is bad enough that it makes me not ever want to go back there ever again, which in terms of replayability makes me not ever want to come back and replay the game unless that were to be patched in. So, sort of food for thought. I am, of course, having great fun in the game, but I do think it's okay to criticize certain elements as I go through the game. Hopefully, this doesn't turn anybody off. I would love you to realize that I do love the game, and I'm speaking out of a place of love and understanding, and hopefully this is a pressure point that they can look at and potentially address in a future hotfix. Daily streams at 7 a.m. on YouTube and Twitch, and I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow in the next stream. In the meantime, I have finally made it to a safe spot, and I need to repair and sell and stash some stuff, so I'm going to get to it, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.